All right.
Okay.
Cool. I hope everyone can hear me. But obviously here we have Jonas Gjelstad,
Yep.
co-founder and owner of TradeMate Sports, and most importantly, professional sports bettor.
Yeah.
So, mate, we've already got some questions for you that people have sent in earlier in the week. First one, we will start with Luis Arias, and he wrote to us on the YouTube channel, and he asks, what risk management strategy does Jonas follow? Imagine that I bet such amount of money in the first months and the variation is negative. I would lose everything.
Yeah. Yeah, no, right now I don't really follow much, what can I say, risk strategies. Like it's hard to get on a lot of money on anything apart from, some NFL games and then the top 5 leagues in soccer. That would be like French League 1, Bundesliga, Serie A, La Liga and Premier League. So apart from that, I just like right now I'm just staking around like up to 10K per game and just keeping it slow and steady in a way instead of just trying to win it all in one go, which I kind of did for a period of time. So, but I think to everyone out there, like I think following the Kelly criterion is a good way to start. If you go with 30% Kelly, that's okay. It's a bit risky, but at the same time, if you're starting with $1,000 to $5,000, so it's money you're basically looking to grow your or start your, what can I say, adventure on. It's a good way, and it's sort of risky, but if you can top up if you lose a bit, I would recommend 30. If you plan on not topping up ever, I would probably go for 20 or even lower.
Cool. And we just had a question come in from Jake the Degenerate
All
on
right.
YouTube. G'day, Jake. He says, I've won $500 in the last 2 days.
Yeah.
Beat that. But seriously, you win by arbing, right?
No, I'm never placed an ARB, I think. The only thing, no, I haven't really bet any ARBs. Like, you can find ARBs out there, but you can always find value on one side or the other. Like, there was a Danish guy, right, who wrote this article on our site that went from ARBing to value betting. And because he realized he was ARBing on multiple places, but he realized he was just losing on when he was ARBing on Pinnacle and he was winning on all the soft books. So if he had not been ARBing and just been placing the value bets, he would have had like a lot more money. So yeah, I try not to ARB or do anything like that.
Cool. Next question from Tiago Figueroa Rado. Sorry, guys, I am not going to be able to pronounce some of these names, but he's written in from YouTube saying, do you trade on Betfair?
I not actively no. Like it's definitely the best or one of the best places to trade if you're doing that. The way I've done my trading hasn't been too much about trading in and out of positions, which I think you kind of need to do in order to trade at Betfair. So I can't actively trade on Betfair now.
Okay, and then we just had another question in on YouTube from Alexander Dahl, and he has asked if you trade on BetDAC. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, so same thing goes for BetDAC. I think BetDAC, depending on the deal you have with Betfair, is slightly better, at least when you just, or it's better when you just sign up, because I think it's like 5 or 6.5% at Betfair to start with, and BetDAC and Matchbook, I think it's just set at 2%. But no, I don't really actively trade on any of the exchanges.
Cool. And we have from the Smart Sports Trader on YouTube also, he has, or he or she, I've got no idea, has asked, be interested to know if he has adapted his approach in the last few years betting the Asian markets. Does he think that the Asian markets have changed at all since he started? Now that Betfair is 2% commission, is he more active on the betting exchanges?
Um, I mean, of course, I have adjusted like a strategy that might have worked 4 years ago, might not be as profitable anymore, or yeah. So yes, I have been adjusting my strategies.
Okay. Do you plan on making some kind of TradeMate Sports software for offline bookies as well? This comes in from Lua Catalan on YouTube. He has also written, in some countries the laws limit the access to gambling sites, and we can use TradeMate Sports only on 2 to 3 big sites.
Yeah.
And that's all. If you consider limiting accounts happens really frequently, there are some people that can't use this software at its fullest.
Yeah, so I haven't really thought of that, but it shouldn't be, or well, it might be hard. The thing is, like, you need to map these matches up against each other, but it should be possible to create, like, you can search up any game and you can put in any odds you're offered. So if you're offered, for example, 1.91 on Kansas City -1 in the Super Bowl, you might want to see, okay, how does that what kind of an edge is that giving me? Is it like a -2%? Is it -1? Or is it like a plus edge? So we could potentially do something like that. I haven't really thought of it. I don't know if it's a big market for it. If the people want it, I'm sure we're going to be able to bring it.
Cool. And we just had a question come in on YouTube on the live stream. It's Grand Sing Music.
Okay.
This person is asking, how do you make your money betting, and what is your strategy? Which is obviously a very broad question.
I make my money betting on soccer in the Asian markets. That's what's been profitable to me. I don't want to reveal my strategies, as it's just going to lead to more people doing the exact same thing as me and moving the market before I get on positions. So for that reason, I'm not going to reveal my exact strategy.
But you're a value bettor.
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably the best way of putting it. Okay, do you usually make detailed research before matches, or do you simply rely on your instincts? And that is from someone on YouTube. I'm not going to pronounce their name.
I'm not the one who's like setting up or doing all the quant work myself now. So let's call it instinct.
Okay. Question from Marcel Zolo on YouTube. What books do you recommend reading to improve your understanding of the sports markets and becoming a professional bettor? Thanks, and keep up the good work, mate.
I haven't read too many books myself. It's just kind of been learning by doing. But so yeah, I probably shouldn't recommend any books I haven't read. There's
maybe the TradeMate Sports ebooks.
Well, that's a good way to start. But if he's asking like how do you price up a sports book, it's a bit different. But the easiest way I could go about it is like if you know the expected goals, you could, what's that called again though? It's like some kind of formula you just put in if you have, for example, if you know the correct odds for home and away, home draw and away, and over under X amount of goals, then you can kind of build out the whole sports book based on that, on everything, on every market except the player-based bets, like to receive a yellow card or player to score first. You wouldn't be able to do that with those numbers, but you could figure out everything else. For those numbers, you need different ratings for players.
Okay, this is quite a long question from Suhas Patel on YouTube.
Okay.
He has asked, how do I regularly get profit from football trading, and which is the best market to trade on? I struggle to look and find the edge on markets, and how do you know that the market has an edge? I've been trading for 2 years and I win trades and then blow my bank. I need a solid way to trade. Please help.
All right, so
It sounds like you're in a lot of trouble.
I mean, it sounds like you're increasing your bet size too quickly to start with. I think going off with like more conservative staking would be the first place to start. If it seems like you always seems to be winning and then you blow it. I think the easiest way to find value is TradeMate. If you're able to access soft books, it's no easier way to make money in sports. I would love to go back to the soft sports days again and be trading at 365, Unibet, Betson, and all those sites, but it's kind of difficult.
Okay, yeah, Bear from YouTube
Right.
has just come in with a question, and he says, "Are you not worried that the edge will disappear?" This is my biggest concern with your service. If I had an edge, I would never give it away and would not be showing it on Pinnacle, for example.
What is that like? Showing what on Pinnacle?
He said, if I had an edge, I would never give it away and I would not be showing it on Pinnacle, for example.
Okay.
Maybe just answer the first question. Are you not worried the edge will disappear?
All right. So in a way, I'm not really worried, because if the soft books changes the way of running their business, that ultimately means that I'll be able to bet with them again, and I'll have more of a playing field than I have right now with just Asian books and exchanges. So, and also, I don't know if it's only down to TradeMate, but if that's the reason why they're changing, being the one who revolutionized that side of the betting industry would be kind of cool. I'm not losing anything by giving it away because I'm not able to bet there anyways. So I don't know if that answered the question.
All right, next question coming from Benjamin Nugalat from the Odds Hero Match Betting Community Group.
All right.
Thank you for joining, Ben. He asked, how does he deal with bonuses that require a very huge rollover requirement of, let's just say, 10 times the deposit amount?
Yeah. So ever since I started, I was betting for decent amounts, I would say. So turning over a bonus requirement was never an issue for me. However, with the markets you have access to and everything, I would just probably stake a bit higher than what's recommended when you have bonus money that you need to turn over. Put the filter into 1.6 to 2 in odds, or maybe you need 1.8 minimum odds, and yeah, give it a spin. It's free money basically, so you can take a bit bigger risks on that.
Okay. A couple of questions here from Josh Rugg, who actually emailed me the other day. Thank you, Josh. He has asked, I've been sports betting on soft books for a year or so, specifically on boosted enhanced odds markets, but the account longevity was tiny. So he recently moved to TradeMate to bet on normal markets, and he's had great success over the last month.
Okay.
He is pondering the move over to Pro in the Asian markets and was wondering what sort of bankroll size and volume one should need to get in to take a shot at making money from betting as a living.
So I think it's kind of important when you start testing out new strategies not to stake too high. You don't know if you have an edge, and even if you have an edge, it's important to keep in mind that the variance can go against you. So getting in a decent size volume and tracking your bets is really important when you start out. Like what I've seen is, like, whenever I tried new markets, I have not a very high success rate. So of course, when you find out new strategies and new things that's working in the markets, is great, but it takes a lot of volume, and you shouldn't take too much of a beating also if you end up not having an edge. So I would go with a very, like, what can I say, conservative staking size there, and continue doing whatever's been working for you. And, you know, when you can see, like, with certain certainty that this is working, you can go harder.
Okay. Daniel Game Chilling, or Chill Gaming on YouTube, has asked XG, question mark.
XD, question mark?
XG, expected goals.
Oh, expected goals, question mark. So if you have I should really know what this formula is called, but I can write it afterwards and figure it out. But it's basically just, if you have the three-way odds and like any total goals, you're gonna figure out like an expected goals for each team. So basically, if you have if home team has 1.8 expected goals and away team have 0.8, like you're gonna be able to create like the whole sportsbook based on those two things. Like, for example, what's the correct price for being 4-2 to the home team? All of these things. So when I first started playing with those numbers, I just saw that the soft books, their margins, the higher the odds is, it's usually a lot higher. So for example, the most common scores in a game would be like 1-0, 2-0, or 2-1, 1-1. And on those markets, they had like 6 to 10% margins. But when you looked at the ones that was priced at 40 to 80, you were looking at 40 to 60% margins. So, but yeah.
Cool. We have Don't Give Up on YouTube. He says, do Asia markets limit person with big stakes?
They do to a certain extent now. Like the bookmakers are reducing your limits, and if you are winning, like Pinnacle gives people half limits. Maybe they do also give a quarter. If you look at IBC and SBO, I think they've made some recent changes. I don't know exactly what they include, but there are some kind of changes there also now. So I think you can compare it with limiting, because I think SBO started taking bigger margins and lower limits. So there's a change also in that market now, unfortunately.
Okay. What is your recommendation from Jochen Sandberg? What is your recommendation when getting limited on a site, but still have a bonus? Should I just keep doing 50 krona bets on almost all bets when it suggests my max bet?
Whatever. What was that? So he is limited and he got a bonus, and if you should grind it through?
Yeah, I think he's just saying, should I just keep doing 50 krona bets when that's his max bet, basically?
I guess it depends on how much your bonus is, how much is your time worth to you. Like, if you're talking about the 1,000 krona bonus and you're really going to struggle to turn it over, you got to just ask yourself, am I going to be able to do it or not? And how much EV am I giving up? Or am I better off just saying, okay, I'll wipe away my 1,000 krona bonus or whatever it is. But usually, if you're at your computer, it's not that much hassle if you're doing trades on other sides to just look through the list and take it as like a second option when you're not placing other trades, I would think.
Okay. Next question is from 7666 Rates. Does TradeMate plan to add any new sports, for example, handball or volleyball?
The issue about those markets is they're so small in Asia, so the softbooks might know more about the prices than the Asian markets itself, which is kind of what we have been relying on. We could potentially add it if it's of interest, but we would need to run a lot of simulations before posting it, as we don't want to send out anything unproven. I think, anyways, betting on those sports is going to be very risky for your accounts. So I don't think it's such a good idea for that reason. Like volleyball especially is, I think it's a lot of things that's happening there that the market will possibly reflect on also. But some big stuff there for sure from what I've understood.
Okay. Brogan Watkins says, at what point do you withdraw cash from your winnings? Once you withdraw to use the money, you won't have as large a pot of money to grow your fund.
Yeah, so being Norwegian, like, I didn't take too much money into my personal account. I would just take it into Neteller, or never use Skrill. So my Neteller account, so it would always be floating anyways around either on poker sites or betting sites. Up until I started using Sport Market, I just left pretty much everything there. But recently, I'm just trying to not have too much in one place and rather invest the money elsewhere when I can't turn over everything that I got online anyways. So that point, it's really down to everyone. Like, if you still want to include it in your bankroll because you know you can get access to it, then it doesn't impact you. But you can, let's say you have $500,000 and you can only turn over like 100,000 a day or 200,000 a day. There's no need to have everything online. You should store them maybe in stocks. If you fancy some swings, you can store them in crypto, but only Bitcoin. yeah, like it's, of course, if you buy real estate or something, the money is not that liquid anymore. So I think if you keep it as a part of your betting roll, you need to have them somewhat liquid, with stocks or crypto. But it's down to whatever people are comfortable with. I think if you can use all of the money you can have online and turn them over every single day to cover more sports books, you should just keep it online. But
Cool. More questions from YouTube. This one from David Hoffman. He asked, how much years do you plan to do it? I assume that means how many more years are you going to sports bet for?
hard to say. Take 1 year at a time and see how it goes. If I'm still happy doing what I'm doing, I'll be doing it. If I feel like I get a bigger happiness or more happiness or EV or whatever, like when you combine those in other industries, I might swap to that. So at least for now, I'll just take a year at a time and see where it takes me.
Cool. From Doon Voon, how fast is a customer getting limited on soft bookies?
So it really depends. If you just sign up and you start firing hard away from the start, some bookmakers can limit you in a day, whereas other times it can take weeks. Some rare occasions can take months. It all depends on the bookmaker and the type of bets you're placing. And I think also people these days are betting, or some people are betting some accumulators and doing some other stuff also to kind of maintain that punter image. Because I think basically bookmakers, they don't want people just betting singles. They're getting so greedy, they want that big fat margins on every single trade you're doing. So if they feel insecure, they're just going to limit people instead of just taking them on like they should do.
Yep. Next question is, if you make 3,500 ever, if you make, this is from Adam Mallis.
Okay.
If you make every month 3,500 trades, you can make $1 million faster. Question mark.
Yeah, the more trades, the more you make, but it's not only down to the bets, but it's down to the bet size as well. So if you can turn over $1 million a month, you should be happy. If you're making 20K a month, about 2% is very good. If you can do even more, have a higher percent than that, then either you're running probably over EV or you're really onto something.
Okay, thank you, Adam. Bear is back again, mate.
Sup, Bear?
And he has asked, he says hi again.
Hi.
Very, very polite. I have been looking for a chat/voice room and with others live in order to scan more markets. Are you aware of these kinds of syndicates/corporations?
I'm sure they exist, just like poker. You work with a group of people. I'm not really into anything like that, so I wouldn't really be able to help much. I think what's good is use, for example, TradeMate Slack channel, see if anyone share the same ambition as you, and pull together money from them if you can trust each other like that, and try out the different strategies. I think everyone that signs up for TradeMate has some kind of an ambition, even though their ambitions might vary. So if there are people that's out there that wants to try out new strategies and really put their time into it, I think it's just an easy way to start and see if you can find somebody.
So you're not aware of any of these sites, rooms, or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Which bookies do you have as reference bookies since you're at sports market?
What does that mean?
Do you know what that means?
Which bookmaker do I have as a reference bookmaker since I'm at sport market? So I bet with all the bookmakers out there. So turnover percent, I haven't got a breakdown of that, but I think my biggest turnover is going to be a Pinnacle. Then it's probably going to be the exchanges, or on US sports it's going to probably be Matchbook, and then on soccer it's going to be on Betfair. ISN probably number 4. but I don't have like a reference bookmaker. I'll just kind of use myself as a reference, if I can say that.
Yep. And Daniel Chill Gaming has come back and said that you are going to get married in 2 years. Trust me. Any response to that, mate?
Maybe he knows my girlfriend and is applying some pressure on me. But yeah, probably. We'll see about that.
Ooh. I wonder if the girlfriend's watching. How you under a bit of pressure?
Oof.
All right, we'll go back to some email questions that I've been sent.
Yeah.
So we have one here from Nicholas Nate, and he says, "Hi, what is the most efficient way to continuously make decent to then larger profits over a long period of time without getting limited or banned? I have been limited by 3 bookies already within 2 months. Maybe I'm betting too much or wrong amounts, such as €9 or €11. He's got a lot of questions here, so maybe we should start with that. Would that be a reason why he's being limited? Betting amounts like uneven amounts like €9 or €11.
I'm not really sure if it's just a myth or if it's actually things bookmakers are looking into. We used to always say, like from the start, that we should use round numbers. It's just out of feel. I don't have any stats to back it up, so can't say you're doing something wrong or you should be doing it this way. But it doesn't hurt to put in a round number, I guess.
Yeah, is using the recommended leagues a better choice to not get limited?
Yeah, I think so. Like, if you all of a sudden are placing bets on Bolivia second division and then Vietnamese basketball, like a lot of different things that the bookmakers might not receive a lot of turnover on, it kind of shows like, well, you're either a complete degenerate or you know what you're doing. And if you are making profits and the odds is going in your favor, it's kind of easy for the bookmakers to say, oh, look, we don't want this customer.
Yeah, he's got a couple more questions. So he says, is it possible when you reach a certain amount that you just get banned or limited either way? Like, no matter how, well you strategize and place your bets, like you're going to get banned if you make profits anyway.
I think the bookmakers are just looking at you as a customer and being like, all right, do you think we're going to beat this guy or do we not think we're going to beat this guy? If they think it's somewhat close, it kind of depends on your limits, but they're not really looking for risk. They're just looking for the easy bucks. So if you're not placing any accumulators or doing anything like that, it's much easier for them to just think, all right, screw this guy, we're going to get a new one anyways. And they rather want to be certain about their margins instead of taking the risk, it seems like. But again, this is just what I base it on, based on feel and the feedback I'm getting from people. So
yeah, and he also says, what do the big bettors do that large bet? How are they able to bet larger amounts? Professional like yourself.
So can bet bigger in the Asian markets. The only issue there is like when you place a big bet, you're going to move the markets. So you kind of need to figure out things on your own or work with a group. And by working with the group, you kind of need to start from the scratch. It's hard to like basically come in if you don't have a lot to bring to the table and demand to get some of their successful strategies, because they're only able to bet X amount and then the markets are moving. So yeah, by betting in the Asian markets, you can bet more. Whenever you bet, like the prices will move if you're staking decent. So yeah, I guess that answered it.
Yeah, it's like, have you ever been limited yourself? Like when you trade on a weekly basis, are you
in the Asian markets?
Yeah.
Now they don't limit; they just adjust the odds when bets are coming in. So if you place like 10K on Chelsea to beat Leicester and the odds were even on draw no bet, they're moving it down to maybe 196, 197, 198, depending on how close you are to the game.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. We'll go back to YouTube now, and the questions are flooding in, mate. You're a popular person, I must say.
Sure it's not you?
Yeah, probably. All right, let's go to Dominic Elias. He says, hi, can you compare Asian Connect, Bet Football and Sport Market? What's your favorite bet broker for high betting states?
I probably should be able to do that, but I've only been using sport markets, so I guess it's time to try out the other things also to see if they're as good or better. But I've heard about some different things, and some people claim that they are better. I don't know, as I haven't tried it out, so I'll try it out and I'll write a report when I've been able to compare them.
Cool. We have Adam Malays, he's back again, and he's asking if you were using a VPN to be safe when you were trading.
I might have to, depending on where I am. But it's like you can have a computer set up in another country, which I do, so that's kind of why, so I can just go around the world and be betting from wherever I am.
Cool. And Brogan Watkins is back again. He's given me a shout out, which is great. Thank you, Brogan. He says that you stated that if you were started off with $1,000, you could return $700 in the first month if you turned over your fund 16 times.
Yeah.
Alex, though, only made $1,000 profit from $1,000 start in 12 weeks. Why is that?
That could be, first of all, like what I said when I said that is if I'm running at what I'm expected to make. And the variance, if it goes against you, like there's no guarantee. So what I said is like what I think is the expected earnings you could be making. And if you were to plug it in, I'm sure it's going to reflect what I said. But the reason why Alex weren't able to do so was he was unfortunately not running as good. And it's just down to variance.
And you also have to turn over your funds 16 times.
Yeah.
That's another thing, so I'm not sure if I did that. All right, Bill Bloom says, when you compare soft books, you have Pinnacle and the whole Asian markets as reference. Or do you compare Asian markets with each other to find the edge?
Well, there's a lot of different strategies you can use when you want to find an edge, and I just think it's down to whoever put in some research as I've done and figure out what's working in what leagues, and yeah, come and compete.
Cool. I've just seen that we have someone called Absolventa 2012 who's actually answering some of our people's questions. So,
all right.
Thank you very much, mate. It saves Jonas a bit of work, but we have someone, Adam again. He's asked, I want to start TradeMate Pro. 30% Kelly is a good bet size for Asians. What do you think about that, mate?
Yeah, so it could be like I haven't really used TradeMate that much recently. I've kind of gone a step further, and yeah, like it could be a good thing. I haven't tried out a lot of different strategies. My volume using TradeMate Pro is so little. I was just using it on minor leagues, and for me, like it didn't feel that it was worth my time when I could stake a couple of $100 instead of staking like between the 2 to 10,000 on every single game. So I just spent my focus on the bigger leagues with bigger liquidity, and there might be some profitable things you can figure out from there, but I haven't tried it, so I can't really say it or give any advice.
And we have William Japutra. He says, hello, Jonas, what's up?
What's up, man? Just chilling out with Alex and Marius.
Yep, great. Thank you, William. Good question, mate. So we have Paul Betteridge actually has got a question, and he's a great customer of ours. He's put up a couple of videos showing his journey with TradeMate. He's
that's
quite
cool.
successful, so shout out to Paul for that. If anyone listening, definitely go check out some of Paul's. Definitely go and check out some of Paul's videos. But Paul asks, hey Jonas, what's your best ROI for a month? Maybe I'd be able to beat your percentage for a video. Ha ha.
I definitely think you can beat my best month, but I think you're going to struggle with the volume I was putting in though. All I know is like for a period of 5 months I had over 9%, and I was turning over, how much did I turn over? Probably about $14 million in 5 months. So if you can beat that, I'll be impressed.
Yeah, maybe Paul, you can send us through what your best ROI is so far, so we can compare, mate. Adam's back again. How you think? I mean, this is very hard to understand. Sorry, Adam. What is the max average bet size in dollars on Asian markets, all leagues? So I can answer this question.
So you kind of can put them into different tiers. The max bet size varies how long it is to the game starts. If you're looking at some NFL games, it's going to be a couple or $100,000 or $200,000. I think for Super Bowl it could be like $500,000. If you look at Premier League, it can only be like 10,000 when you look at 2-3 hours before the game. Whereas like when the games are just starting, it can be a lot higher. The 3 o'clock games have lower limits than if it's like the 5:30 game. Then because when the games are separated out, they're gonna get more volume. So Pinnacle and the Asian markets are increasing the stakes there. It's basically just a bunch of different tiers, and on let's use Serie B. I think like Pinnacle offers something close to like 3,000. ISN probably around the same. SBO and IBC could be like $200 to $1,000. So it's just a big range in between there. So if there's any specific leagues, I can see if I remember it from the top of my head. I can use Championship as an example. The limits there should be around 10-15K when it's less than an hour before the game starts. So very decent limits all over, as long as it's a liquid league of some sort.
Cool. Christos Solgas on Facebook says, hello, I want to ask how we can get more information for each game, because he understands that basically all the bookies have lots of statistics like wins and goals that go into compiling their odds. So how can he kind of find value through looking at like information and statistics and stuff like that?
I mean, if you find a way, I'd be happy to hear about it. I don't have like I don't think you're gonna find an edge looking at like statistics or recent form or anything like that. I think it's very hard because if you look at football or football, soccer, whatever you want to call it, it's 11 players on the field. You don't know how fit everyone are at any given time. You don't know how many games they played. Like if you look at Leicester now, they played
Aston Villa?
Yeah, but that was yesterday or
2 days ago.
2 days ago. So they're going to have less rest before they play Chelsea, which might impact the way they're playing that game. So how can you compare that with the next time they're playing? So looking at statistics and stuff like that, it's just really hard to put everything or tell everything by looking at some stats. Because next time they're going to play, they're going to be without some of their best players now, maybe. Or they might have gotten a better team. So looking at statistics and stuff like that is just hard to use and find value because there's too many factors that kicks in.
Cool. My favourite question of the night, mate.
All right.
And I'd like you to smile while I ask this question. It's from Leo Norden from Facebook. He says, how many units did you spend on your teeth?
Less than a max bet.
Oh, okay. We have more and more questions coming in on YouTube. So it seems like we have a chat here between a couple of bettors. I might let them go at it, but we'll go with Armin. I'm not going to try and pronounce your last name, mate, but he says best resource to use to learn further about betting smartly.
One more time, please.
Best resource to use to learn further about betting smartly.
So further, that means the next step after TradeMate. I don't know. I've always just gone by myself in a way. So you got to figure out your own strategies, build around it, and take it the way you want it. I'm sure there's other ways you can go around it. There might be some products to use out there. But as I haven't really looked into that, it's hard to recommend stuff.
Okay. We might leave the chat alone for a bit. Go back to some of our other questions. This is a lot of questions here from Steiner Seltvit, and he's commented from the Odds Hero match betting community again. Make sure you all join that group. It's one of the best groups going around.
Yeah.
He says, what odds range is best for clearing sign-up bonuses? 5 or above or lower odds?
As you want to turn over the most you can and have the least amount of variance, I'd say go with whatever minimum odds they're going to give you. It could be 1.4, 6, or 1.8, and just take it from there and up to maybe 2.2, 2.3, and try to turn over as much as you can.
Cool. And he also asked, do you have any experience using electronic money institutions for deposits? Will bookmakers give sign-up bonuses when making deposits through these EMIs, or is it the same as using e-wallets?
So what he is referring to, is that the same as Skrill and Neteller, or is it something new and different?
It EMI, and that means electronic money institutions. I'm not sure what the difference between that is and an e-wallet.
I don't know myself, but I know that some bookmakers now is restricting bonuses or not giving out sign-up bonuses if you're using Skrill or Neteller. And I guess the reason for that is they're charging a lot on the deposits, like 5% or something. Paysafe cards, yeah.
Cool. Mac on YouTube says, boxers or briefs?
Boxers or?
Briefs.
What's a brief?
I think it's just like tight underpants.
Oh.
Maybe.
I go commando, no underwear.
There you go, Mac. Great question. Probably the second best question of the night. Blade Runner. Yeah. I think the teeth one is the best one. So. Shout out to Leo Norton. Blade Runner says, how long will sports allow you to keep winning?
How long
will they, sports books, sorry, how long will sports books allow you to win for?
Well, I think for now they're happy. Like the way Asian markets now is operating is like by cutting down the limits a bit. It's kind of like I'm doing the odds trader job. So if they get in my position and allowing me to bet 5K and then allowing Alex to bet 10K, you know, they're kind of factored towards my side and have more risk on Alex's side. So as long as they have a, what do you call it, like a system like that, I think forever. Just depends how greedy they're going to get in the end and if they're going to keep getting my action.
Okay.
But it was funny, you said his name was Blade Runner?
Yeah.
When I was playing a poker tournament in Australia, the TV people also called me Blade Runner. Okay. I'm gonna pop up, find a video, a picture of it and show it.
Why did they call you Blade Runner?
Because of the way I was looking.
Oh.
Let's see if I find it here now.
Actually, there's a question for everyone. I wish you could put up a poll. Do we think Jonas, I can post that in the live chat, do we think Jonas looks more like Christian Eriksen or Jay from the In-Betweeners?
Well, depending on the answer, the subscription cost might go up drastically.
I'm going to put that up there now. I'm sorry if I spelled Christian Eriksen wrong. Or Jay from the In-Betweeners. Should we go with another question then?
Yeah, go.
Blade Runner says, I am from the future, alright?
Yeah, I guess that was the thing with me also.
Yeah. Adam's back. He said, what you think about making TM automatic for making trades?
It would be great, but it would be very simple for the bookmakers to spot it and limit everyone, and you would also be classified as a syndicate and they could confiscate the money.
Cool. Alexi Par 10N says, do you still play poker? If so, how do you balance your time between poker and betting?
Good question. So I've been playing more poker recently, that means from September to December, I played a lot of poker. But now recently, like this year, I haven't played any poker at all. Basically, just played some 2-5 Zoom on stars.
Okay.
So
We've had a few responses to my question, and fortunately for you, it's overwhelmingly Christian Eriksen. Mate, so
thanks.
good news.
That's a good way.
Yep. All right. Avram V says, how do you keep your bets in Asia if you're not using TradeMate anymore? And how many bets per week do you make in Asia markets?
Okay, I just found the picture. I'm just trying to figure out which one is the... I don't know how good this is. But I had some very fast glasses. And this is more of a close-up. So from this I was called the Blade Runner. But how many bets do I place a week in the Asian markets? How many? Depends. Like if it's many games, I probably cover about 50-60% of the top divisions games. So I mean, you do the math.
Yep. Okay, we'll go back to some of our questions from earlier in the week. NAS on YouTube says, how has your trading evolved over the years? Is it safe to assume that nowadays automation is a must in order to stay competitive in Asian markets?
It's not a must, but it's definitely good to have automation if you find like ways you can implement that. Yeah.
Okay. A few more people saying that yes, you do look more like Christian Eriksen, which is quite disappointing. Anyway, we'll move over to some more questions we've had come in. This person says, looking back, how much of your wealth do you think has come from sports betting, poker, and the stock market? He wants like a percentage on each one.
Mm-hmm.
How much money's come from each thing?
So let's think. Like poker, that also goes like if I've been staking or having pieces in people, right? That's a poker income. So if that's the case, maybe 60% from, or 60 to 50% from poker and 40 to 50 from betting. And stocks, probably less than 1%, basically breaking even.
All right. Next question comes from someone on Google Docs. He or she says, what edges do you consider to have the above average TradeMate sports user? What edges do you consider to have above the average TradeMate sports user?
So what kind of edge is an average edge that a TradeMate user is?
Saying how big are your edges compared to the average TradeMate user?
All right.
This person's assuming that you get bigger edges than the TradeMate user.
So if we're looking at the TradeMate customers, their edges or return is at least is about 2.5%, and that is probably 100 to 50% higher than my returns. So in betting now, it's like for me, it's been about 2%. Yeah.
Okay. Adam is back again. He says, is betting broker, can they limit your stake?
I don't know if they are the ones doing it or if it's the accounts they're giving you that's been limited, because you're kind of sharing these accounts with other users as well. So I think it's the bookmakers that limits, and then it's the bet brokers' job to fix new accounts with bigger limits.
Blade Runner's back. Good to see you still here, mate.
Yeah.
He says...
Stream offline again. Is it YouTube taking it down, or?
I think it's YouTube. Let me just refresh.
just ask people if anyone from TradeMate is currently watching, so if they can post on TradeMate Slack that it's okay.
Alright, anyone still watching? Please post on Slack, says Marius.
Oh, it's back. It's back.
Oh, we're back?
Okay, Blade
Okay,
Runner.
cool.
He has said, "Is the stock market legit? I only trust sports betting."
I'm starting to like Blade Runner. Stock market is legit. So for my trading there, it mostly went with following one of my flatmates, and he was basically just using a site called DataRoma. DataRoma, you can see whatever like the top dogs are investing in. Warren Buffett's portfolio gets released every 3 months, but the main man to follow is David Tepper. He's the beast of the stock market.
Cool.
Yeah.
Reddit now. Got some questions in from Reddit, mate. It's very exciting, I think.
Cool.
It's from Oh Holy Night Owl.
Okay.
He asks, first question, how many hours a day do you play?
So it used to be a lot. I used to wake up 9 o'clock on Saturdays, starting trading, and was trading until like 2 a.m. Then I go to sleep at 2 a.m., wake up 8 a.m. on Sunday, and be at my computer until 4 a.m. Eventually I got burnt out and needed to figure out like a way to distance myself a bit and do other things because it was just too much. And that was on the weekends, and then the weekdays it's more like, yeah, the sports is happening at night, but the majority of volume would come from US sports. And yeah, eventually I tried to find somebody who can copy what I was doing and didn't have the great success. Then I find somebody else who's been able to do a much better job now. So I don't spend that much time myself doing it anymore.
Cool. Oh Holy Night Owl again. Is it something more advanced than having algorithms set up and betting both for and against and then netting the difference?
Yeah, because what he sounds like to be suggesting is arbitrage, right?
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, so you just got to figure out in a way where is the market going to be moving and trust that the market is going to be moving in your direction.
Cool. Adam is back again. I think Adam and Blade Runner men of the match so far.
Yeah.
So many great questions. Adam's come in now and said, are you using flat stake or Kelly? And I think it's important that you maybe start this as saying, like, if you were using TradeMate, what you would do. And then if you like the situation you're in.
Do you want to sit here instead?
No.
I'm
sorry.
joking. I'm joking, man. No. So myself, I use. Sorry, I was gonna do it Alex's way. If I was using TradeMate and I was able to stake whatever amount I could on the soft books, I would go with Kelly, and I probably would go with, if I were to put down like my kind of net worth in, I would probably go with like a 15% Kelly. If I would put down like, money that I'm willing to invest for a high risk investment that has a great return, I would probably put down 30% Kelly. And if I were to drop like half of my initial stake, I would just put in, top it up again if I were able to. So right now I'm using kind of fixed stake, and it's kind of fixed and it's kind of Kelly because I don't have the access to TradeMate, and it's hard to know how big your edge is on different things. So if I think I have a bigger edge, I'll stake it slightly higher, and yeah, if I'm able to at least get on.
Cool. Dominic's still with us, and he says, which kinds of bets do you do? Like 1x2, Asian handicap, or goals?
1x2, sorry, my phone is ringing. I need to hang up on that. I put it into like that, sorry. So I do a bit of 1x2, Asian handicap and totals. Maybe it's about 30% totals, 20% 1x2, and 50% Asian handicap,
Why is that?
roughly.
Why more Asians?
It's just more of a market that I think I'm able to beat. 1x2 is usually also higher margins on the Asian bookmakers, so now it's lower margins on the Asian handicap, so usually better return there.
Cool. Okay. I don't know what this person's asking, but I'll read the question anyway. VVV. He says, "Hey, I am that guy from Ayatvia who wrote you on Instagram yesterday." Okay, and he lost some money today, and that's all he wanted to say, really. Did you lose some money today, mate? I lost some money today.
Nice to speak to you again. Sorry to hear you lost money. It happens. Don't be too upset about it. It's gonna have more of those days.
Yeah, go to...
But there's still plenty of time to make it back, though.
Yeah, Variance VVVV. Anyway, Adam's back. He says, "How can I improve my TradeMate skills?"
Speak with support. Ask them about trading strategies. They would love to help you out.
Okay, and Dominic says, "Yeah, I'm doing that in terms of his Asian handicap." So he says, "Thank you." All right, back to Reddit. Nutella Badger. He says, "Where do you live, and when are you usually not home?" He wants to know so he can come and bet with you, basically.
When, huh?
He says, "Where do you live, and when are you usually not home?"
Yeah, so I've just moved places. I've taken over Prince Harry's room in the Buckingham Palace. When I'm not home, I'm traveling, so you can come to my place in a couple of weeks. I'll be gone. Just ask for Jonas by the guards. Now, I live in London, and I don't know when I don't have a set schedule to go to bed, but if you want to break into the house, feel free, man. The door is open.
Okay, Nutella Badger, there you go. Moving back to Facebook from Adonis, he says, "How you flip 100 to 200k per day if, let's say, Betfair just let you bet 20 to 40 euros on recommended leagues?"
That's impossible, mate. That's why you need to, like, when you get limited, it's just, like, TradeMate is not going to be a way that people are going to be able to make millions for themselves, unfortunately. It's just a nice step to start getting into sports betting and hopefully take it to first the level 1 with the soft books and then learn strategies in the Asian books. And it's a software that allows you to track things and keep things under control, you can keep statistics of all the different things you want to like study. And it's a lot cheaper than building out any analytic tools or using any things or building anything out from scratch.
Cool. I'm not going to pronounce this one, but we have another question on YouTube, and this person says, "So what method are you guys encouraging?" I assume he's asking about betting, and I guess it's quite an easy question for you, mate.
Okay, Marius, can you plug in, because I only got 10% on the battery now. I think it's just been unplugged or something behind me.
All right.
You know, with this beanbags, it's so hard to be comfortable again if you get out. We're plugged now.
Sorry, I can repeat the question.
Yeah.
So he says, "What method are you guys encouraging? What betting method?"
What betting method?
I mean, I assume it's just value betting, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, follow recommended leagues and put in a filter. I wouldn't go below 2.5% and see where it takes you. I also wouldn't bet over 10% edge, because then it might be very easy for them to spot you in a way. And you'll be considered an arbor, because there will be an arbitrage on those kind of bets.
Okay. VVV is back with another strange message, but he says, "Are you going to bet on Jake Paul today?"
I am not, but I heard that someone is favoring really one of the two, but I shouldn't be sharing, because it's not my pick, so it's just not fair to share like the side. But I'll see if I can get on something.
Is he boxing or something?
Yeah, it's like a boxing fight. I'm sure he got his position on. I would go for the Paul guy if you can get a decent price. But don't, it's not my thing, so it's your own risk. But I think that's where the smart money is at.
I chin. It's a terrible fight though, because he's not really a better, is he? I mean,
Yeah, I watched his brother and KSI, and that was just like, kind of looked like two guys getting drunk in a bar and starting throwing punches at each other. So
yeah, very, very boring. All right, Dominic's back. Did sport market ever limit you?
no, they never limit me.
And would you say sport market is safe to have a lot of money in?
Yeah, I would trust those guys.
Right. Is a soft bookmakers? Yeah, sorry, Adam. He says, are soft bookmakers? Do they know about TradeMate? I assume that's what he's asking.
Yeah, so I think they do, or I know one site does, and one site actually. Oh, fuck it, I'm going to mention them. Coolbet. They actually reached out and said to some of my childhood friends that was betting at Coolbet for like £20 a bet or something, that because they were friends with me, they thought they were a part of my syndicate, betting £20 when they weren't even on EdgeBet or TradeMate Sports. So once I heard about that, like a couple of months later when we were having like a Christmas party, the first thing I did was just like send out messages, included Coolbet straight into TradeMate, and I think it's been one of the most profitable sites to bet on. So yeah,
All right.
not too fan of the way they handled the situation and put in my name into this. It's so not fair, and I don't know anyways if they're allowed to do so, and how they figured it out with like Facebook or whatever good detective work. But unfortunately, they could have just signed up to TradeMate and seen that we're not using them. And if I were to do it, why would I be betting £20? So yeah.
All right, still on YouTube live chat, guys. Next question from Blade Runner again. He says, what is your average wager amount?
Average wager probably around between 5 to 10K.
Okay, thank you, Jonas. Karen Vahi says, which sport is best for betting soccer or basketball over under?
Probably Pinnacle. If
Oh no, he said, sorry, which sport is best for betting soccer or basketball over under? So would you rather bet over under on soccer or basketball?
so, depends on your strategy. If you have a good strategy for any of those things, like the place to go would probably be for basketball, probably some casino in Vegas is gonna accept more. If you're doing totals in soccer, then probably Pinnacle. Maybe Pinnacle is the best in basketball also, but I think they're only accepting like 5K bets, so they're not too big on that. There's also plenty of sites that accept around 5K on totals for basketball, but for soccer you can bet a lot more, if that was any question.
Alexi Partanen says, what is your opinion about trading small leagues like Nordic football, hockey, etc.? You think it might be worth it to put in work to gain higher edges in those?
I think whatever you can become good at, there's going to be money. And if you can be one of the best in those things, sure, you're going to be able to make a lot of money.
More questions coming in from YouTube. What type of bets seem to have the best positive return over a period of time? Wins like 1x2, double chances, or are you guys mainly on arbitrage of different betting sites?
So the type of bets that's going to give you the best return, I would guess that would be the high odds, because the higher the odds is, the higher is your potential return. Like if you're betting, let's say you're betting, I didn't watch the market yesterday. I think the market slightly moved in on Manchester United against Manchester City. But if it was a big movement there, like, if it goes from 9 to 7, you're going to be looking at like over a 20% edge. So I think the higher the odds, the higher can the edge potentially be if team news goes in your favor. So I don't know if that was the correct answer.
Yeah, that'll do.
Okay. Well, I mean, underdogs, that's basically gets team news in their favor, is going to just generally be more profitable than betting a favorite, even though betting a favorite would be much less variance. But if you're betting a favorite that's like 1.4, it takes a lot to have a 20% edge.
Yep, okay. And yeah, if that didn't answer your question, G, then yep, send another one through, mate. No worries there.
Yeah.
Syed Zubar says, is there any profitable strategy for soccer?
Profitable?
Yeah, I mean, split it into 2 words.
Oh, if there's any profitable strategies in soccer. Yeah, just follow TradeMate. They are very profitable. More profitable than what I'm doing myself, so.
Jeremy Green says, do you track your ROI weekly or monthly? Or how do you track your ROI, weekly or monthly?
Yeah, even tracking it monthly wouldn't be fair because what I do is I track the EV, the closing, and I see if the closing is improving or decreasing and try to always figure out ways to increase the bottom line in a way. But of course, you gotta also get a turnover in. So some leagues you're probably fine with closing about like 1%, whereas others you're looking at 2-3%.
Cool. Alex Sayaq sent in a message 12 hours ago saying, what are the most important data you look at to make your choice to be profitable in the long run?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak too much about my own trading, but what I just look at is what I just said. I look at the closings just to confirm that things are going well. And of course, it's going to be trades that's not closing great. There's sometimes things happening which is out of your hands. But basically, following whatever strategy you're doing, you can just assure that it's working by following the closing lines. And by closing lines is basically if you have a basketball game, then the Pinnacle prices would be 195 on both outcomes. So if you bet something at 195, you will need to close at under 1.9 in order to be profitable after the margins are taken away.
Cool. Pierre Antonio Polini, 7 hours ago, sent a beautiful question in, mate.
All right.
He says, my question is, how are you more precise than the bookmakers?
How am I more precise than bookmakers?
Yeah, what do you do to be more precise than bookmakers?
I mean, I just take the positions I do whenever I feel like the market is not accurate. And the bookmakers, like if you look at the soft books, they have basically a trader who takes care of multiple markets. And whenever news comes out or things happen, he's just too slow to pick up on it. So people are going to go into the Asian markets because that's where all the smart money is being able to be put on. So go into the Asian markets, they will bet on whatever team that has the news going in their favor. The market is going to drop. The odds trader, I don't know what he's up to. Maybe it's taking a bathroom break, smoke break, or it's just managing other matches. So it usually takes about 2 to 10 minutes before the markets adjust, and by that time, it's easy to go in and hit them. So.
Cool. And Syed Zubar says thank you for answering every single question. It's rare on YouTube, so you're a rarity, mate.
Okay.
Yeah. Adam's back again. He says, did sports betting change your view on life?
Not on life, but it definitely changed the way I view sports. Like, I don't have the same excitement by watching a game because you're kind of always rooting for whatever you put money on, which has kind of killed part of the enjoyment of just watching a Premier League game and thinking like, oh wow, that was a great play. But because it might be a great play, but it might be really bad for you in a way. So it's hard to just enjoy it the same way I used to. But to change the way I view life, well, in poker and sports betting there's ups and downs, and so it happens to be the same in life. So just learning to deal with them more, what can I say, casually, I guess.
Yep. Gaio de El Torrio sent the question 7 hours ago. Thank you, mate. He says, are value bets profitable around all seasons, or is it a matter of your skill?
If it's a value bet, it's value regardless of the season. We can ask Tobias or Marius to look into data and see like if there's months which is more profitable, or if we because we have a very big sample size of bets now with TradeMate. So we can look into it and see like, has there been a month where our customers have not been profitable? And as we can have, there could be variance. So maybe like March last year, their customer lost. But if we look at March 2 years ago or 3 years ago, maybe it was just down to variance this March. But we can break it down month by month probably and see if people wants to see that.
I mean, there's signal and then there's noise. I would say that's noise. So I would not bother looking into that.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, there's...
Maybe just repeat that.
Marius claims there's signal and there's noise, and that would just be noise to Marius. So I don't know exactly how you view that, but I'm sure if enough people wants to hear about it, we'll be happy to spend time and provide that data.
Okay, NAS is back again. He sent a lovely question, a very long question, mate. So
okay,
we'll break this one down. He says, firstly, thank you for sharing your journey. It's inspired him to pursue a sports betting career of his own.
That's cool.
There's a lovely thing that you've done, mate. He says, can you please share your thoughts on the importance of beating the closing odds of Pinnacle Asia?
Yeah, so the importance is basically in sports betting, you don't really have any ways to track, is it a good trade, is it a bad trade? But what we can just assume is that the lines is going to close somewhat accurately. And yeah, it might be 1% to 3% off at times, but the majority of the time is just the easiest way we can actually see if we're doing a good thing or a good trade or a bad trade. So if you can consistently beat that closing line, I'll guarantee you're going to consistently make money also.
Cool.
And what I mean with beating the closing line is what I explained earlier. If the line's a basketball game, for example, closes at 195 on both outcomes, and you got over 2 in odds, you're probably going to make money long term. But if you're at 2, you're breaking even. But if you're at 204, you're making like 2% on your trade. So.
And he said after that, it is a common occurrence for big syndicate action to take place close to kickoff at odds that do not end up beating closing odds,
yeah,
but instead equal the closing odds, VIG subtracted. Wouldn't this suggest that there is often value in the closing odds, even in big leagues such as the EPL?
Yeah, so for those big syndicates who's able to beat the closing odds, it's probably 2-3 of them out there who can beat the Premier League closing lines. And if they want to kind of disguise their position by not moving the markets, that's on them. And for us who doesn't have access to their bets, the easiest way we can look at it is like, well, on average it's going to be closing accurately. So unless you're always losing a lot more than the closing line, if you are over thousands of bets, maybe you're actually just doing the complete opposite and they're sending you in the direction they want to send you. But I think that's highly unlikely by just doing things the way we are doing it at TradeMate, because when there's big movements, we can also see why those movements are happening and why we're taking the positions we are taking.
Cool.
So looking at closing lines, I would say is the most accurate thing you can do.
Yeah, great. Dominic's back again. Good to see you, Dominic. He says, what's a very good yield in your opinion, and how is your unit management? 1, 2, or 5 units per bet?
So, like I said, I'm not really sure. I don't stake it that much like that anymore. I'm just trying to not have too big of a swings. So I stake it from basically 1,000 to 10,000, most majority of the time between 5 and 10. And whenever I win, instead of moving up even further, I'm just saying, okay, I'll take the money out and I'll invest them in other places also. Because if my edge somehow disappears in betting, I wouldn't want to risk losing all of the money I have invested or all the liquid money I have. So by taking some money out whenever it goes good, it's just creates a more stable life, and yeah, keeps the swings down and also builds net worth outside of betting.
Cool. Blade Runner is back again.
Oh,
mate.
nice.
You might have to be man of the match. He's
Okay.
actually said this is a great Q&A, so
Oh,
thank you, Blade Runner. It means a lot. He says he lives in America, and he's wondering what does the Asian market entail?
so the Asian market is basically a reflection of what people are betting, because the Asian market is, well, open to everyone. So you're able to place any bets there. You're not going to be limited. However, whenever you're staking or placing a bet, the odds will move depending on how big your stake is. So if you're max betting, they're going to move since you're American, I'm just going to use terms you're going to relate to. So let's say you bet Patriots -7 at -105. After you place the bet in Asia, they're going to move it to from -105 to -110 or -109 or something. And to those who don't understand American,
Our connection wasn't the greatest, but
okay.
I mean, we're recording everything and we'll put up good quality video after, so should
Yep.
be alright.
All right, so we're back live.
We're back again.
Yeah,
We have one from Jeremy Green, just quickly.
yeah.
He says, do you know how much on average TradeMate returns per month ROI for your customers? Just a nice quick one.
Yeah, so what we can see is that an average customer on TradeMate is staking close to 100,000 euros a month, because the average profit is about 2,500 euros. So, I mean, there's going to be someone out there who's taking the big bucks and is dragging it up. But over a long period of time, the average profit is about 2.5K per customer.
So yeah, 2.55.
2.5, so 2.5K profit, 2.5% return. Very simple numbers to remember.
Yep. All right. Well, we just had a flood of questions coming.
Oh yeah?
This Q&A is really taking off. Adam, sorry, I'll get back to your question. He said, is it true that odds on sport market are lower than on official bookmakers' websites?
The only thing that you can say that is correct on is exchanges, because they account for commission. So if you're planning on trading in and out of position, you're better off placing them at BetTag, Matchbook, or Betfair. If you look at SBO, that's also right, because they have something they call API accounts, which means accounts that is given out to bet brokers. They have about 4 or 5 points or something ridiculous higher margins. So if something is 195 on their site, they're going to offer you 190. So you're basically eliminating SBO from getting any action, unless you have a click account, which means you need to go into SBO website and place the bets directly with them.
All right. I think we have a winner for the best questions.
All right.
Oh, this is going to be hard to keep a straight face. But Malala Babuna Patanya says, help man, I need help. What happens if 2 family members end up having a child?
2 family members end up having a child. Well, if it's husband and wife, it shouldn't be a problem. If it's anything else,
I mean, I think he might mean what happens if 2 family members have a child together.
like brother and
Like
sister.
Incest, basically.
I mean,
Nothing wrong with
whenever I get into those situations, I always call Alex for help. So
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend, guys. Wouldn't recommend. All right, thank you. All right, VVV says, what was it like to start betting years ago for you? Did you lose a lot, or wasn't it that hard? Just tell us a little bit, please.
yeah, so just like everyone out there, I've been just betting what I thought was value from my head to start with. I'm good. Betting everything from what I thought was value, and I ended up losing. I saw a pattern in losing whenever I was placing bets on the Asian markets and winning when I was betting with the soft books, and especially when there was a big deviation from Pinnacle and the soft books. So I kind of came to a hypothesis that let's test it out. Let's just bet with the soft books and stay away from the Pinnacle and the Asian sites. It started returning profits, and that's kind of how EdgeBet or TradeMate was created also, by automating what I was doing manually.
All right, Avram's back again. Is there any value in live betting?
For sure, there is a lot of value in live betting as well. I have just started trying out some things within live betting, so we'll see if it's profitable or not in 2 years when I get big enough sample.
Cool. Smart Sports Trader is here. He says, when you bet on, for example, the FA Cup, when team news is a big factor and the odds movement can be volatile, do you wait for the lineup to be announced before betting?
Sometimes you can get indicators that the lineup is going to go a certain way before it's announced, and yeah, you don't always have to wait for it. You can kind of see where it's going. But of course, sometimes those indicators is not going to be accurate, and you end up thinking, why did I do that? But if you keep a track of like how many times it goes for and against you, you might end up having a more profitable strategy than waiting.
Yeah, he says,
But if you're able to bet with the soft books, you're going to have plenty of time to be, or not plenty of time, but you will have time to place the bets.
Do you still think earlier movement can be a decent indicator of where the value is?
Yeah, it can be.
Cool. Jeremy Green says, thank you for your ROI question before. Now we have a new person that's coming to the chat. Rixa O says, do you bet on tennis?
I do, occasionally.
Yep. And who are you betting on the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl? Ugh, I don't know yet. Like, my heart is telling me to bet with 49ers and that 49ers shouldn't be an underdog. But I have other people telling me that maybe they should be, so I haven't made up my mind yet. Let's see where the market is going and see from there. I kind of like the 49ers.
And he also asks, I mean, I think he just wants all your tips, mate, but he's asking, who are you betting on the NBA and NHL today?
On NHL and NBA today,
What are you going to tell everyone?
I don't think I have any positions. So let's wait it out and see.
Yep. All right, Adam's back. He has to be man of the match now. You are using Skrill, Nutella, Bankwire to withdraw your money? Question mark.
So with Sportmarket, it's very simple. You can just send them a request and then they'll bank wire you the money.
Cool. VVVV, what is the most money you have lost in a day and the most you've made in one day?
I had one minus 250k day in betting. My best day, I don't know. I don't keep track of those. They don't hurt. They're just a joy. Probably a bit less.
Yep, okay. GGG's back again. He says, thanks for the previous answers to my questions. No problem, mate. So do you guys give out tips for specific games, or do you have a particular method to this madness?
Yeah, so we use a particular method to this madness. We basically just scrape the Asian markets, do some mixing and trixing in there, and whenever there's something happening, we'll just spit out whatever we think is value on any given time. So yeah, all you need to do is just put in and let us know what kind of bookmakers you have access to, and we'll take care of the rest. And you just gotta follow whatever that will show up on your trading feed and place the bets yourself manually, unfortunately.
Okay. Tristan Victus, he sent a message a couple of days ago. I'm not sure if I asked this before, but if I have, just ignore it. He says, could you give some tips and tricks about betting in the Asian market with betting brokers like Sportmarket? It's really hard to find an edge at bookmakers like SBO and IBC. They have less liquidity, and if they have, often you are too late to place a bet at higher odds than the sharp bookie, for example, Pinnacle. So in contrast to soft bookies at the Asian market, you almost need to know if odds are going to drop further in order to beat the closing line and make consistent profit. In short, more info about betting in the Asian market would be very helpful.
the only thing I can basically say is that if you have a group of experts, if you like experts, people who follow and watch every single football game, and you can provide them with the odds for a game, and if they all agree that yeah, the value is clearly on one side, whether it's the over, unders, Asian handicap, 1x2, just go against whatever they're saying, because whatever they're saying is where the majority of people is going to be on, and the value should be on the other side.
All right, great question coming in. I want to skip to this one quickly.
Okay.
By Dominic Elias. Again, what do you think about selling tips on websites like Blogabet or Pico? I'm thinking about this for extra income.
If you have a winning strategy and you want to share it, you're happy with the amount of money you can get down in the bookmakers, and you can have an extra income, sure, go for it. I find it hard to believe that most of these people are actually profitable. They might be profitable, or they might sound profitable, because from these sites they might have 500 tipsters, and if you say these 500 tipsters are placing bets with, let's say, minus 1.5–2% expected return, some of them is going to have a return of over 20% and look very appealing to you as a customer. So for those reasons, I stay away from tipping websites, because their volume is not good enough to actually say if they're profitable or not.
Cool. Jeremy Green says he's got the Arizona Coyotes in regulation, minus 120. So thanks for the tip, Jeremy.
Let's go, Arizona.
Adam's back again, the man himself. He says, you still not have a car? So I'll translate for that. Do you still have a car?
Oh no, I don't have a car. I use Uber.
Yep.
I got a private jet though.
Can we take a quick 2-minute break so I can switch the camera battery?
Yeah.
Yep, we'll have a quick break, guys. Just 1 minute. Fire in some last questions. We'll be going for about 103 minutes now. So
yeah, let's say we go for 120 and then
yeah. So
round
last
up.
minute questions into the YouTube chat. That's what I'm going off now. Well, and they're firing in now.
Oh,
Firing in these last minute questions.
that's good. Oh, this is snus tobacco. Apparently Tobias Marius doesn't like this. Free advertisement for Scruff.
I'm tired, mate. What about you?
I'm feeling it. It's pretty hot in here.
Maybe you can tell everyone about the what we've been doing this week.
So we've been filming a lot. Just basically, they've been trying to tear apart my brain, asking all the different questions, and yeah, just trying to create some content again.
So look out for it.
Yep, it's gonna be a lot. So start subscribing to the YouTube channel if you like what you're hearing, and your questions will be answered.
Well, I'm watching our subscribers go up by the minute here.
Oh, nice.
So you're bringing in a couple of subscribers, mate. Thank you very much.
Well, that's cool.
Okay. Are we back on?
Yeah.
All right. Alexi Partanan says, do you ever bet opening lines?
No, I haven't done too much of that. The limits are usually very, very low, and I've been like scraping them just to try to see like how they work, or how beatable are them, because I'm sure they're going to be very, very beatable. But yeah, no, it's just not been something I've been putting focus into.
And Daniel Chill Gaming's come in. Good work, mate, because he said he's had 7 wins and 0 losses in basketball EuroLeague with TradeMate today. Feels good.
7-0, can't get much better.
Hopefully, I placed a few bets on the EuroLeague today, so hopefully I was on the same ones as you, Daniel. I haven't checked my results. So.
Yeah, I think EuroLeague is, like, when you're getting bets there, it should be very good, because I think the markets there is usually moving in favors, and I think there's big edges to be had.
Yeah, I got a 10% edge today, I think. So. Happy days.
Money in the bank.
What have we got here? Oh, okay. So we've got Rick Sur again. It says, do you ever translate your betting itch into blackjack, baccarat, or poker? Any gambling stories?
No, I mean, I've been playing blackjack in Vegas and stuff like that. Maybe going out with $500, thinking like, all right, let's see if we can spin it up. I don't have the best stories, but Felix, the guy I mentioned earlier, who I was living with, he was out in Vegas having like $300 in his pocket, and so like one guy was betting huge on blackjack. So he was like, all right, this guy probably knows what he's doing. So he said like, oh, do you mind if I play behind you? Meaning basically just copy the same bets as him. So he just put on like $100, $100 per bet. And he started winning, and the guy got a lot of blackjack. So he was like, oh, you're my lucky charm. So he started giving him like $1,000 every time he hit the blackjack. Eventually he said like, oh, do you mind if I play my own box? So he started playing his own box, and before the night was over, I think Felix ended up turning that $300 into $80,000. Felix is a tremendous lucky person who also, with his now wife, managed to get a royal flush in Australia for like 6.5 million Norwegian kroner or something like that. So yeah, anything he touches turns to gold. So I'm here to be touched by him. Might sound a bit wrong.
I can touch it.
You're not Felix though.
Alright, that was a bit weird. Galaxy says, I'm new here. So do you sell your picks on your site?
So I don't necessarily sell my picks, but I sell a service that basically scans the markets. And the people who moves the market are people that's better than I am at betting. So following those bets is going to be more profitable than following my picks. So for that reason, like, it's a better business for everyone. I don't have to work and put out my picks, and you're able to follow better picks with better return than I have. So win-win, as long as you have accounts.
Okay.
And yeah, of course, I don't have access to these accounts anymore because I've been limited. That's something that's going to happen with everyone out there. But and that's why I decided to create this business, because I kind of got whatever I could get out of it.
Yep. And Rick just said, good story, mate, for your one about the Felix one. So
Yeah.
Thank you. Next question, VVVV says, don't you think that NHL is hard to predict?
Yeah. I mean, a couple of years ago, I was doing like 10% for the season. So that was like insane. I think 90% of my bets were betting like under 5, under 5.5, and under 6. I see now the lines have moved a lot up, and I haven't been really profitable on NHL, and I kind of put my priorities elsewhere. The limits on Pinnacle at least used to be like 3K per bet, so it's limited what you can get on. So yeah, it's hard to predict, I guess.
Anton's just come with a question. It's quite interesting that he asked this, because me and Marius were talking about this today as a new idea. He says, can I acquire coaching from you guys? So yeah, me and Marius were talking about this earlier today. So it might be something to look out for in the near future, that we send out some kind of coaching package.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to answer that at all. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be able to help much in terms of coaching. I do a bit of my things also on the side. Of course, I'm involved with TradeMate also as a co-founder of it, but I'm like not going to go into details and give away too much of what I'm doing with my betting. But with TradeMate, it's anyway going to have a higher return than I'm getting. So
yeah, so look out for that, Anton. Might be something in the future for Anton.
Yeah, and Marius and yourself, you know more about the TradeMate software to this day than I do. I just kind of architected the first layout, and then you guys and the community has improved it by requesting some new features and added things to be whatever way the community wanted it to be.
Yeah, cool. Rix is back again. How many positions / bets do you take in a day?
Yeah, I've like maybe I cover 50 to 60% of the leagues I bet on, so quite a lot on a Saturday and Sunday.
And he also says, what's your favourite sports to bet on?
American football. Like American football betting is, I guess it's also been my biggest league because this year is going to be my first losing season, unless I stake high six figures on the Super Bowl. So probably going to be like stepping down, or not stepping down, but rather putting in more volume into soccer, which has been my bread and butter for years. And NFL season is very short; it's few games compared to soccer. So, but by far my favorite. Nothing better than turning on Red Zone at 6 o'clock and sweating it for 7 hours with no commercial, no, yeah. Like I said to my girlfriend, I don't make any plans when there's playoffs games or regular seasons on Sundays or even on holidays. I get that time off to watch Red Zone. So.
Cool. Right, we've got just under 10 minutes left, guys, so keep firing them in. Dominic Elias says, do you think sports betting is a market that will be here for the next few years?
Yeah.
Future to be profitable?
Yeah, so it's funny, like, because I've also been working, or sort of is working with a bookmaker, and mostly working on creating a better product for B2C, trying to create more fair playing terms. And when you look at the numbers and the growth within sports betting, it's just growing and growing and growing. And it's one of the few industries that's actually growing even though there's recession. So I think sports betting, unless like legislation is coming and changing it, and I don't think that's going to happen. It's probably going to be some changes like you've seen in the UK. I think it's going to come to US also soon in all the states, because it's just stupid not to think it exists. It's just going to be less of the undercover sports books, and people are not going to go to Vegas and go absolutely mental when they're there because it's the only place they can bet. So I think having a more regulated betting, sports betting would be better for all the countries.
Cool. Blade Runner is back. Kobe Bryant was a big and tragic loss for us in America. In your country, which athlete would you say is the most influential to you guys personally?
So if you look in Norway, we've had like, I think the biggest athlete would be a skier, Peter Northug. Like, he's just made skiing being fun, and skiing is kind of the only thing we're good at in Norway. And he's just like a very charismatic person who doesn't take himself too serious, and he makes fun with the Swedes and everything. So I think he would be the top athlete in Norway. But yeah, of course, like, very sad what happened with Kobe, and like, it's tragic that he influenced a lot more people than just Kobe himself. Like, I think he had a lot of good things going, and hopefully somebody will take over for him and drive that forward.
Okay. Adam's back. Him and Blade Runner still battling for man of the match. He says, betting closer to kickoff is good thing to increase profit, question mark.
From my own trading, I can see trading 30 minutes or less before kickoff is not been much profit. It's the best bets I get in prior to that.
Cool. Nova Blast MC. Do you do NBA bets?
I do some. I haven't been very successful at NBA betting. I went from crushing it to being crushed. So kind of stepped down from NBA for a while now.
Alexi Partanen is back again. What is your retirement plan, mate? Are you buying a lot of real estate? Are you starting an online casino?
Yeah, I'm buying some real estate just as a safe investment, and got a project going or starting there now, so we'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll become the next who's big on real estate. Well, I'll become some real estate mogul, but we'll see. It's a lot easier than other industries. And of course, I'm not going to be doing this by myself. I got to be partnering up with some people that know their stuff.
Mate, question from myself, why are value bettors disliked by bookmakers?
Why a value bettor is disliked by a bookmaker?
Yeah.
Well, because they're losing money on them. Like, it's that simple. They want to make money and they're not making money.
This is Marius's question.
And I mean, but yeah, you might say, why are they disliked? Because they shouldn't be disliked, because they're just doing, if they were to listen to their good bettors, they can adjust the pricing for the whole book. And they're basically giving out this for let's call it for free. But instead, the bookmakers think it's better for them to limit them and take the money because they know what the people are going to be betting. They know that on a game when Manchester City is playing at home now, it's more likely that people are going to be betting on Manchester City, and same with Barcelona and stuff like that, rather than the opposing team. So if you were to do that when you got an edge, it's easy for them to just say, oh, sorry, we don't want you action because we just want those punters who's always betting the same thing and putting them into an accumulator on a weekly basis.
All right. Do you recommend straight bets or parlays, mate?
If you know you have an edge, I don't mind going small in a parlay. If you don't know you have an edge, doing a parlay is giving away money to the bookmakers. They're going to like you, and they're going to give you bigger limits, though. So it's a trade-off.
Okay, we've only got a couple minutes left.
Yep.
People, so get your questions in. Also, I'd love to hear if there's anyone out there that thinks that Jonas looks like Jay from the In-Betweeners and Christian Eriksen. Someone back me up here.
You trying to get fired, mate?
Righto, Anton says in terms of the coaching, he would love to see some kind of coaching by TradeMate on how to build Bankroll to bet on the Asian markets, because he's thinking of switching from TradeMate Core to TradeMate Pro.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's superb. Thank you, Anton. Look out for that in the future. Adam is back again. I think we'll just call it now. He's probably the winner today. Most questions.
Yeah.
So shout out to Adam. He says, will you add horse races to the TradeMate?
I mean, we could. It's doable. I think it's already something like that out there. We don't have a huge presence in the UK, and in Norway, or I don't know, horse racing might be big in the US also. I don't know exactly about how it works over there. But we could potentially expand to another horse racing also algorithm. But I guess just like any other sport, they're very fast to limit you if you're having profitable horse racing picks.
Okay. I'll give them a minute to see if they fire in some more questions.
Yeah.
In the meantime, is there? I'm just watching you pick your nose.
No, I was just itching it. I didn't have any boogers, so I checked.
What's the plan for tonight, mate? Let everyone know what you're doing tonight. Anything exciting?
Probably not. Probably just sorting out some business and doing some calls, and then off to bed.
Yeah, exciting.
But then weekend is coming tomorrow, so.
Yeah, how good. Is there any team you like? Oh, well, this is a good question. Do you bet against your own teams, mate?
Yeah, I bet against my team, both in football and NFL, Newcastle and Philadelphia Eagles. But I mean, it's betting against Newcastle hasn't been a winning strategy this season. But it's not like I just do it consistently. I just bet whatever I think is value and don't care whatever team it is, and then whatever results is gonna happen is gonna happen.
Yeah. Okay. Last question. We just hit the 2 hour mark.
All right.
By GS.
Okay, bring it.
Would you recommend low coefficient betting, 1.3 or lower, and keep placing all profits towards another 1.3 bet? I've heard after the 10th time, the profit explodes. This is worth the risk.
Well, I mean, this is the kind of things that actually drives traffic on social media. It's like, we'll do a, what is it, £25 or £100 challenge and gonna run it up to like 1K or 10K. I mean, sure, yeah, if you want to go for a spin, you can do it. But following those trades, I guarantee you they're not profitable in the first place. And yeah, it's just a matter of like, is variance going to be on your side? And if you're expected to, like, if you're starting with 100 and going to turn it into 10K, you're probably on average going to be over 10 bets, maybe losing 3% at a time. I mean, you're going to be more unsuccessful than successful in terms of your EV per challenge is probably 20 or 30 euros. So you're losing 70, and then turning that 70 to 10,000 is going to happen like 1 out of 120 times or 30 times, 40 times. Yeah. So, but best of luck. And if you think it's fun, go for it. Like, it's important to have fun here also. But I would do it with picks from TradeMate if you want to do that. And that would be on your own risk.
All right, we're getting lots of comments come in saying thank you, and hopefully we will do this again. That's what everyone's saying.
Yeah.
So, it's been good fun. One last thing from VVV. He says, I wanted to say the good hockey league is KHL. It's like Russian league, and it's easy to predict. Which obviously it's great if you can find some value out there, but it will get you limited maybe a bit quicker.
Well, I mean, if you can find bets, you can place trades with the exchanges. You can go to the Asian markets. They might not be the biggest limits, but whenever you're best at something, you're always going to be able to find out the way and make money.
All right. It's been a pleasure, Jonas.
It's been a pleasure.
Say goodbye to, I've been here the whole time relaxing. And Marius, he's still awake. But yeah, maybe say goodbye to everyone, Jonas.
That really nice. It was a fun thing. First time for me, so not used to this. I hope I didn't make a fool of myself and TradeMate. And yeah, probably we'll see you guys sometime soon.
All right. Make sure you look out for our content coming on Jonas.
Yeah, subscribe to the channel.
It would also be good to say, mention that. And if people have follow-up questions, leave them in comments below this video, and let's cover them next time. Yeah, I don't know if you heard it, so I'm going to repeat it. If you have any follow-up questions, you can leave them in the comment section below, and we can either follow it up with a new stream or we can answer them below. Stay tuned, we have an Instagram profile we're trying to stay active on. Twitter is going to become more active, and YouTube. We got a lot of footage coming out on YouTube, so hopefully you'll like it. You'll get to see a bit about how a daily life, they look in my life and the swings I'm going through, and yeah. Let's see if you like it or not. So yeah, bring it, and see you guys later.